what we learned about Ole Miss that we didn't know previously, I mean, maybe we kind of thought that at points in the season that they had it to make the playoff and all that, but after their first 3 SEC games, it didn't feel like they had it. Mm-hmm. It's in there. They are capable. Offensively, they are capable. Jackson Dart showed you that he is capable. It's in there. They can play good football. They can play good offensive football. Jackson Dart has not forgotten about his tight ends, as it turns out. He actually used them some on Saturday. He was very good in the second half of that game, and he hadn't been good for the 3 games prior. Like I said yesterday, 14 of 17 for 220 and a touchdown against that defense that is top 10 in both sacks and TFLs, at least going into the game they were. So good football is in there. Clean football is in there. The challenge now is, can you do that more than 30 minutes? Can you do it for maybe 60 or 120 or 180? I mean, can you do that? They showed you in the second half of that game that good, high-level football is in there. But now can they bottle that up and use it again for 4 quarters this time, starting Saturday morning in Fayetteville?
I think another thing we learned, and maybe we already knew it, was that this Ole Miss defensive line, I don't know if it's elite, but it is exceptional. It is very, very good, and it is a group that makes a difference. And that's why if they're going to beat Georgia, that's the group that's going to have to sort of lead them through that. If they're going to dominate Arkansas this week, if they're going to win that game, that line is what's going to have to do that. Walter Nolan is a difference maker. Pegues has been really, really good for them. They just have quality talent up there, and it just goes to show the difference between State and Ole Miss, right? State had 4 injuries of guys who could probably be starters for them. Not that they're, but none of those guys would start for Ole Miss. And so, that's the difference between the 2 teams. One team is good up front on defense, the other team is not. When you're good up front on defense, everything else kind of takes care of itself, right? If you can rush the passer without blitzing, and that's what Ole Miss was able to do this weekend, frees up so much other stuff.
Yeah.
When you can't get any pass rush whatsoever, you see the results.
And that's why they were in the game in Baton Rouge, because else you couldn't run the football. They could not run the football. And that hurt them for 3.5 quarters until they needed it most. But that's why South Carolina just had no chance. None. I mean, that's a running quarterback and an offense that's going to try to do that, and they had no chance. 0. It's been the inability to score. So, yeah, they are, and linebacker play has been really, really good. I saw a stat today that Chris Paul Jr. has missed 2 tackles this season.
That's something there.
And I think it's, is it 400, over 400 snaps? He's missed 2 tackles. Second highest graded linebacker in the country. So they're doing things in that front 6 for sure. So